Hello? Here's a too scary horror story set in the house. The old Victorian house at the end of Willow Street had always been a source of unease for the townsfolk. Its dark, looming presence seemed to cast a perpetual shadow over the neighborhood, and rumors of its sinister past were whispered among those who dared to speak of it. One rainy night, Sarah, a young woman with a fascination for the paranormal, decided to investigate the house. Armed with a flashlight and a camera, she crossed the threshold into the unknown. The air inside was heavy and damp, and the faint sound of creaking floorboards echoed through the darkness. Sarah began her exploration cautiously, documenting her every step. As she made her way through the decaying corridors, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Shadows danced on the walls, and the distant sound of a child's laughter sent shivers down her spine. In one room, she discovered a dusty old mirror, its glass warped and cracked. As she gazed into it, her reflection began to distort, taking on a sinister, twisted appearance. Panicked, she stumbled backward and fled the room. But the house seemed to have other plans. Doors slammed shut behind her, and eerie whispers filled the air. Sarah's heart raced as she realized she was not alone. Shadows moved in the corners of her vision, and cold fingers brushed against her skin. In the basement, she discovered a locked door, its surface etched with strange symbols. Desperation overcame her, and she fumbled for the key in her pocket. With trembling hands, she unlocked the door and descended into the darkness. What she found there would haunt her for the rest of her days. The basement was a chamber of horrors, filled with macabre artifacts and the lingering presence of something malevolent. It was a place of unspeakable evil, and Sarah knew she had to escape. But as she made her way back through the house, the walls seemed to close in around her. The very architecture of the house had come alive, a nightmarish labyrinth designed to trap her forever. In her final moments, Sarah's terrified screams echoed through the house, joining the chorus of tormented souls that had come before her. The old Victorian house on Willow Street had claimed yet another victim, its dark secrets hidden from the world, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to cross its threshold. Here's another scary horror story set in a house. The Andersons had always considered themselves lucky when they found a beautiful, historic mansion in the countryside at a price too good to be true. It was the perfect place for a fresh start, away from the noise and stress of the city. Little did they know that their dream home would become a nightmare. The first signs of something amiss were subtle. Objects moved on their own, and strange, unexplained noises echoed through the house at night. At first, they dismissed it as the quirks of an old house. But as the days passed, the occurrences escalated. One evening, as the family gathered in the cozy living room, the lights flickered and went out. In the darkness, they heard a faint whispering, like the voices of 100 lost souls. It sent shivers down their spines. When the lights finally came back on, a message was scrawled on the wall in red, dripping letters. "Get out!" Terrified, the Andersons contacted a local priest, hoping for an exorcism to rid their home of the malevolent presence. But even the priest's rituals couldn't quell the supernatural unrest that had taken hold of the mansion. The apparitions became more pronounced, and the family's sleep was plagued by horrific nightmares. One fateful night, as Mr. Anderson was exploring the mansion's dark, neglected basement, he stumbled upon a hidden room. Inside, he found a collection of old journals filled with the ramblings of previous owners, all of whom had experienced the same horrors. As he read through the pages, Mr. Anderson realized the mansion had a dark history. It had been built on the site of an old asylum where patients had suffered unimaginable cruelty and abuse. The tortured souls of the past were now exacting their revenge on anyone who dared to reside within the mansion's walls. The Andersons knew they had to leave, but the house wouldn't let them go. Doors slammed shut, trapping them inside. The walls seemed to close in, squeezing the life out of them. Desperation mounted as they fought to escape the malevolent force that held them captive. In their final moments, they realized the only way to break the curse was to reveal the truth about the house's past. With their last breaths, they scrawled a warning on the walls, a plea for help to any future occupants. Years later, a new family moved into the mansion, unaware of its dark history. As they read the warning left behind by the Andersons, they felt a chilling presence see.